Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a while since I last posted a video, and in all honesty it's because exam season kind of hit your girl a little bit harder than I expected, and so YouTube had to take a back seat while I prioritized my exams. But now I am finished, we thank God I am free for the summer, and I'm really happy to be back. And over the last couple of weeks, even as I've been doing my exams, I've been thinking about the purpose of this channel and how I kind of want to get a little bit more creative and varied in my content, but still keeping with who I am and the message that I'm trying to portray. So I'm really excited for the ideas that I'll be coming up with, and I hope that you stay tuned for that. But for today we're just going to go with the usual Tracy talks, and I wanted to talk about self-love and the art of self-love. Self-love to me is so important, and it's a topic that I'm really passionate about because I think it's so essential to how you experience life, how you experience others, and how you experience yourself. And there is a lot that I could say about it, but today I kind of wanted to touch on some foundational stuff. The first point that I wanted to touch on is that self-love is not a destination, and I think this is why so many of us struggle to love ourselves, is because we think that one day we're gonna just wake up and everything about us is gonna be lovable, we're gonna be this ideal person that we've always wanted to be, and so we kind of hold out from embracing ourselves now. But self-love is a choice that you make each and every day, and I promise you the more often that you make this decision, the easier that it will become. And this is why it's unconditional, because you choose to say that, you know what, even if I never get to become this ideal person that I want to be, even if I never get to look like how I want to be, I'm going to love myself anyway. And this really takes the pressure off feeling like I have to be this ideal person before I can totally embrace myself, because I promise you, for as long as there are people living on this earth and we have the ability to compare, you will never feel adequate unless you choose to feel adequate. Secondly, self-love goes beyond just what you look like. And I know for a lot of people their insecurities come from them not liking what they look like. But who you are is not defined by what you look like. And this is true because let's say tomorrow some tragic accident happens where it damages my face or I have to lose a limb. Does that suddenly mean that I'm no longer Tracy? No, because Tracy is her character, Tracy is her personality, Tracy is her values and beliefs. And in the same way, all of us age, some more gracefully than others. Okay, I said it because it's true. But what I really mean is that if we're going to say I am who I am because of what I look like, then you're really putting a best before date on your self-love, because there is going to come a point where you're not really going to look like how you used to look like. And so you're going to say that I no longer love myself? No, because if you learn to love the internal you, the character of you, then that is something that is more consistent. One thing I always hear people say is that when you love yourself, you love the good and the bad of you. You know, people can either take it or leave it. But in the same way, I feel like you can also love yourself enough to want to change. I'm not talking about changing the things that you are born with or the things that you cannot change, because they are what make you who you are. But if you see something and you're like, I could be better at that, then why not be better at it? So for example, if you're somebody that is brutally honest, you know, it doesn't mean you have to stop being honest, but maybe the brutally part can go and you can be a bit more gentle in how honest you are. Personally, for me, I've always been somebody who is about growth and self-development, and I do it because I want to see a better version of myself, and not because I've suddenly seen this person do this and I want to do the same thing. And so you really have to make sure that the intentions behind why you want to change are because you want it for yourself. One thing that I think is so useful for learning to love yourself is reflection. And reflection is good because it allows you to see how far you've come, how much you've grown, what you've achieved. And I think so often many of us get discouraged or insecure because we think it seems like everybody else but me is doing something and going somewhere. But in reality, it's probably because you haven't took the time to stop and celebrate the little or big progressions that you've made. But the more that you see that you've progressed, the more I think you start to believe in yourself, and belief in yourself gives you more confidence, and more confidence, you know, allows you to love yourself even more. The sixth point is based on something which I've heard somebody say before, which is sell your strengths and buy your weaknesses. And what that really means is that when you find those 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you are good at, own that thing and do it till you're like full potential. Finding your strength and what you're good at not only allows you to take away the focus from what everybody else is doing and wanting to do what everybody else is doing, even if you're not good at it. it also just encourages you, because it's like, you know, I'm owning what I'm good at, I'm loving what I'm doing, and I'm doing it well. Another thing is that you have to learn to be authentically and truly yourself. Not only does that go for your strengths, but just who you are as a person, what you believe in, what you're all about, your personality. Because a lot of people tend to have this thing where they have multiple personalities when they're out with people, and then when they're by themselves they're a completely different person, and then they start to feel insecure because they think they wouldn't really like who I am. But if you allow yourself to live as authentically and as true that you are, then you make the decisions that reflect who you are as a person. That means you live in less regret in life, and that way you just don't resent yourself as much for not making certain decisions or acting out of character, and that really allows you again to embrace the true nature of yourself. Another thing is that the kind of energy and the kind of people that you have around you really do impact the way you see yourself and the self-love that you have for yourself. And you know, it's true that you don't need people to validate who you are, but sometimes we do need people to kind of remind us of who we are and kind of put words of affirmation into it. So for example, if you're a good parent, you don't necessarily need somebody to say that you're a good parent for it to validate that you're doing a good job, but sometimes it's appreciated when people remind us. But as well as that, it's not just about having people have to say something to you for you to feel good. Sometimes having those solid few friendships where people you can see they enjoy spending their time with you, they enjoy your company, that really can lift your spirit, because it allows you to see that, well, if they can love me for who I am, then why can't I begin to love myself? And on the same lines of being able to receive love, I think it's really great to be able to give love. I know for me personally, I feel like the most happiest when I make other people happy. And it's not like in a people-pleasing kind of way, it's more in a way of like, I love myself enough to share my good qualities with you. And lastly, I think you have to learn to be kind and gentle with yourself. I think so often we're kind of angry at the little things that we do that we wouldn't be angry at somebody else for doing, or we don't forgive ourselves for the little things that we do that we would forgive others for doing. We have to understand that in life we're going to make mistakes, or we're going to do things that we necessarily didn't want to do, but we can't spend the rest of our life resenting ourselves for it. You have to kind of forgive yourself and say, you know what, I'm a human and I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm okay with making mistakes because I know that it doesn't define who I am. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.